Hi. Hello, everyone. There's just like a huge difference. I usually stream to YouTube and Twitch. And Twitch is just a 2-3 seconds sometimes. And they could stream to YouTube much, much faster. Because YouTube offers ultra low latency. But they're not using that for some reason. Mm-hmm.
As far as I can tell in Restream, though, they're using one encode to work for all the platforms, so it might be
so too, yeah.
Kind of the lowest common denominator type of situation.
I recently watched them do a live, like meet the team kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know these guys are from Ukraine.
Yeah,
it's a Ukrainian team. So, yeah, everyone submit questions. If you have photography questions, tfttf.com/ptq for photo time.
Yep, we're just waiting for Leo to hop in from he has a work call. Should be wrapping up shortly.
And while I'm here, I should probably also open the questions table. That would be helpful. So, we already have a couple of questions for the end of the show. But if there's anything pressing, anything on your mind about photography, then now's the time. tfttf.com/ptq. So, I have the fishbowl prepared. I do have it right next to me today. This time, I have a few interesting topics ready. We're going slightly into the astro realm today. Because there are two stories that I found really interesting. And a show and tell of a camera. That's probably one of the weirdest cameras I own. I'm not going to show it right now. 15 seconds. Yep, I knew it. I think someone in my German community measured it once. Yeah. But that's another way to get people to switch over to Twitch, because that's what they're doing now, because it's faster. Thanks for the GIF, but I can't see it here. It doesn't open here in the web chat. Let me pull it.
It says nailed it.
Ah, there we go. No, I've just opened the link in a separate window. Because I'm not in the Discord right now. Well, it does have a title, so that kind of helps. So, yeah, I was doing the preps today, kind of last minute. I was trying to install OpenWRT on a travel router.
Well, that
was such.
Yeah. Never try to do tech stuff right before.
Well, I'm not using that. It's just one of those things that I thought might be like a 10-minute thing.
Yeah.
And I used to do networking as a job, so it's not that I'm like uncomfortable doing these kind of things, but it's a small pocket travel router. It's just takes like 3 minutes to boot. It's so slow. The actual routing and stuff is fast, but just the the total boot time is so slow, then and I didn't want to not finish it, so it's not even important. It's just one of those things that you start and then go, yeah, come on, 5 more minutes. I'm getting it set up. That involved like installing a new firmware and breaking it twice, unbreaking it twice. The things you do. No, it's just slow. It's I could look it up. It's a wait. It's just a cheap, like really tiny GL iNet AR300 M16. It's like $30. And it comes with OpenWRT installed, but it also comes with its own Surface installed, and then that slows everything down. So you want to kind of have it only OpenWRT. So you have to reflash it, and it doesn't have much memory, so it's a very like limited experience. And I'm not quite done with it yet, so I had to stop it. Unfinished business. But hey, I only need it in like a couple of weeks when I'll go on the Eastern European photo road trip, which also took longer to get everything sorted. What do you mean managed? I mean, I manage it. Or does... I'm not sure what exactly you mean with managed in that context. And I don't really need it for anything. No, it's not a managed switch. Okay, I get this. No, it's just a router. Basically, what I'll need it for, or what I'll use it for, is as a Wi-Fi repeater. So it doesn't even do anything like important. I'm probably not even gonna use it that much because I just looked at the eSIMs for Eastern Europe, and I'll have like 100 gigabytes for, I don't know, $50. So I'm probably not even gonna use that thing much or at all. So it's just one of those like backups of a backup kind of thing. I kind of be glad if I don't have to use it. So yeah, router. Let me see. It's. I don't have it here, so I could show you. It's this big on the palm of your hand, and it has 2 antennas sticking out, and it's powered by, I think it's micro USB. It's nothing sophisticated. Okay, let me copy and paste your GIF. No, it's not quite that tiny. It's not quite that tiny. But it is like easily fits in your hand. I was trying to have a little another kind of a LTE router Wi-Fi thing that is too old and that doesn't have the memory and the horsepower to do anything serious with it. So I first tried to like upgrade it or make it work with a different firmware, but that didn't work at all. So yeah. But honestly, I think the times are over where you really need a lot of Wi-Fi hardware unless you're working with like a group or something. I mean, that's one of the things we might use it for on the tour as an exchange hub for the group. I might hook up a USB drive or something. So just for picture exchange, but not even that's probably necessary.
Caught up in a call with a new sponsor.
Oh, look at that.
But I will immediately join you right now. Immediately, like right now.
That's okay.
You've probably been having fun
It gave me a
talking to
couple
the
more
peeps.
minutes. It
Yeah.
gave me a few more minutes to finish my
Yeah.
preps, which I was late for.
Good. I'm going to change I have a lovely thing behind me that is a picture of me with a camera as my logo for this show. How are you, Chris?
Doing good.
Good.
Just like finished the last 3 little tiny bits for the Eastern European tour, which is coming up in 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
So-
Okay. Do you change it every
So-
time?
There were like a couple of little forced changes. We couldn't get one of the hotels I wanted to go into because it's a different time of the year, and it's now full of birders, which it wasn't. It's near. It's in Hungary.
Did you say
near,
birders? People who are
birders.
spotting birds?
bird photographers?
Wow.
It's in Hungary. There's a national park with like tons of interesting birds, and there's a lodge that we used to stay in on the
Cool.
way for a night
Cool.
outside of season, like in fall. And this time it's spring, and they have busloads of people that pay more than we can. So
Oh, I want to do the Alsace Black Forest Christmas markets. Oh.
in the preps, doing the preps right now.
That sounds so cool, man.
Tiny
Nice.
tour.
Wow.
This is literally my backyard. That's where I grew up.
Oh, you grew up in
Not-
Alsace?
No, but at the edge of the Black Forest.
Oh, yes.
So-
I have been to the edge of the Black Forest, and I shall never return. No.
What?
That's in Bavaria, though, yes?
No, in Swabia.
Swabia. That's right. You're Swabian. I forgot.
No, don't. These two, that's you're
They're not the same?
poking a stick into a wasp's nest. here.
Somebody from Swabia is not a Swabian?
Oh no, it's Swabian, but then the Bavarians and the Swabians, there's this old
Oh,
rivalry,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
There's one town down there between Baden and Württemberg, which are two parts that now make up Swabia. And they were such rivals, but then the city was put together. And still today, you have older people who don't approve of someone from the
so
one part of
funny.
the city marrying someone from the other part of the village.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yes, no,
That's
I'm not.
hysterical. And of course, you have
Most people are fine. Most
the
people are fine.
Kirschtorte, but that's
Die
what I want.
Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte.
And the Schinken, yeah.
course.
All right.
That tour is gonna
I
have
can't wait. Lots
definitely
of Schinken.
a culinary side of it. Glühwein, Christmas markets.
Oh, I can't wait. I want to go. I really want to go. It's in November.
It's very likely the last week in November.
That's my birthday week.
It's not
Be a
even
good
on the
week for me to
website.
go.
Do you have a Thanksgiving birthday?
Yeah, I don't know when Thanksgiving is this year. That sounds like my cup of tea.
That must be close.
Oh yeah, probably. Well, let me see when Thanksgiving is. I don't know. Usually my birthday and Thanksgiving kind of are in a dance. They flirt. Sometimes they're on the same day, but rarely. Let's see. My birthday is a Saturday, and is Thanksgiving that the 27th? Or is it the 20th? I think it's the 27th. So, yeah, you're going to have U.S. Thanksgiving overlap and my birthday.
I mean, wouldn't that be perfect to do this in Alsace, in Strasbourg, in Colmar, with all the timber framed houses, Christmas wonderland.
So beautiful. I talked to Lisa. She says now after Trump that we can't leave the country ever until.
And I can't go there because
and you can't.
Will certainly have some dirt
They'll
on
take
me.
you away.
They'll find something.
They won't let you in. They'll look through your social media and say, "Oh, I can't let you in." No, we're afraid of leaving the country. Not so much because we wouldn't be able to get back in. I'm pretty sure we would, but because I don't know if people are going to spit on us. I would.
No,
she's afraid.
That is nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that, but I do want to.
I mean,
I can't not go out and travel. I mean, that's just
most
much.
people here will be able to differentiate between.
Yeah, they know
a crazy lunatic.
They know I'm not Eric
regular
Duckman.
people.
They know that I'm, serious.
Don't
All
wear
right,
a red hat and you'll be fine.
Would you like to begin the begin? Are you all set? I have the images.
All set.
We had a good set of images this time. Good number of images.
Yes.
Yeah.
Plenty.
Happy about that. Yeah.
And I have news, and you have a mail.
I have the mail. I have opened the mail. I have looked at the mail. I have looked at Josh's picture, and Abdul's picture, and Mitch's picture. I have your photo workshops in front of me, so I think we're ready. Anthony, should we go?
Yep. All set.
Okay. I could put the chat overlay on. I don't know if I should or not. I can't remember. I think we don't.
It's up to you. It is one of the scenes.
Yeah. No, I also have it here as an overlay. Yeah.
And you could always just, if you want to call out a specific comment, you could also just do that.
Yeah.
See? It's easy.
Yeah. It's easy. Burke says easy. It is easy. Buzz Lightyear. You see, this is the problem, is that those animated GIFs,
Wait,
they don't.
How do I? Yeah.
They don't show in the chat.
Just stop.
Why is my face so huge?
Now you screwed up the lower third, right? Oh, we could do the questions.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. Are you ready, Mr. Marquardt?
Oh no, that was the wrong button. Hold on. I need to cool down my light a bit.
Pull your light. Your jets.
There we go.
You know what's really
I'm
sad,
ready
because of
when
these
you are.
tariffs, I'll never be able to buy another Leica again. Criminally. Actually, I won't be able to buy anything again. Period.
Do you think the Switch 2 prices had tariffs built in, or is that going to...
Well, this is going to be very interesting to see what Apple does with its pricing. I mean, I'm sure a lot of the companies would like to not increase, but they may not have a. I mean, that's a huge increase.
Oh, there's no choice.
I don't think they have a choice. So
and Europe is getting away like with only 20%. Only.
So it's only a 20% tariff on my Leicas now.
Yeah, I think so.
That's not too bad.
Or on my bourbon, because that's the only thing you can do right now. Start drinking, right?
Start drinking. It's very sad what's happening in this country, but at least you kept the ADF out of your government. The AFD, I mean.
AFD.
Yeah.
Well, they're
there.
Not governing, but they're in the parliament.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And they're not small
Thank you,
in the
Elon.
parliament.
Thank you, Elon.
Let's talk photography.
Yeah, it's much more interesting.
That's so much more fun.
Hey, everybody. Welcome all our Club Twit members. It's time for Chris Marquardt's Photo Time. Our favorite photographer is here joining us from the Viewfinder Villa in beautiful Leipzig. No, I don't know where you are.
In Hanover.
Hanover.
The Viewfinder Villa. Right outside the gates of Hanover.
Oh, it's nice. You know, it's kind of fun to live in a country where towns have gates. We have Bill Gates.
Well, I grew up in the south of Germany in a village that had gates at least a few hundred years ago. There
Town
were actual
walls,
gates,
as it
town
were.
walls and
Yeah.
stuff. There's historic town walls and things. Yeah.
I'll never forget going to Rothenburg.
Ob der Tauber. Rotenburg,
Yeah,
ob
which
der
was
Tauber.
the inspiration for Disney's, I think Snow White. It's a walled town, and it looks the same as it did 1,000 years ago. It's incredible.
It comes all back to Germany. All these
Yeah,
timber framed houses.
timber
and
frame,
things.
beautiful. Actually, there's a tie into that because Mr. Marquardt here is planning a new expedition for the
Yeah.
Christmas season. Tell us about that.
It's not on the website just
It
yet. It's
isn't
still
here
in the-
yet. Okay.
No, it's not. It's still in the prep stage. But
You're getting a scoop, kids.
I thought long and hard about this and hinted at it this last time. But I want to take a small group onto a tour to the Black Forest in Alsace, end of November for the Christmas markets. Like old forest timber framed places, rustic squares, historic towns, and Alsace on the other side of the border. It's just this wonderful blend of German tradition and French elegance, right?
And the
And
land
then
of
there's-
sausages and delicious food.
And it's still enough far away from Christmas, so it won't interfere with like the December rush. But
I bet it gets pretty touristy
talking,
around that time. Yeah.
It does, yeah. We're talking Strasbourg, we're talking Colmar. It's just, yeah, and that is going to be the same kind of tour that I'm going to do to Eastern Europe. Like, it'll be a small group, 3 people plus me in a car, flexible, and yeah, very, very, very custom
Fun.
for everyone involved.
Really fun. So those Eastern European tours are sold out. I think you've got one coming
Yeah.
up soon, in fact. Yeah,
2
in
weeks.
April. Yeah.
2 weeks, and then
Nice.
I'll be on my way.
Discover the Top Floor. Actually, the place to go, discoverthetopfloor.com. You could see all of Chris's enterprises, including his workshops, his coaching, his individual training, his books. Some of it's in German, but as you can tell, Chris's English is superb, better than mine. And so you will also find a comrade who can speak your language photographically as well as syntactically. Now, speaking of words, I think it's time to do our photo assignment. We got a good participation this time.
Yeah, we want to look at the brilliant photos from last month,
And they were brilliant.
and I think we had, how many did we have?
It's a good group. This is the Tech Guy pool on Flickr.com. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 17 images. Gregory and Margaret and
even 20 if you're
20,
logged in. It's weird how Flickr does the filtering and stuff, but I think if you're logged in and refreshed, then I think it shows like 20. 20 is a good number. 20 is a great
yeah,
number.
we're very pleased. Thank you, everybody, for participating. Look at somebody was in the Galapagos the past month. That is a fabulous photo. Actually, I won't mention it because you get to pick 3 to talk about. So let's start.
Well, that's my start picture.
Oh!
The Galapagos penguin in the morning light.
Good
'cause
choice. I like it.
it does show brilliance from a lighting point of view. If you look at it, you'll see the reflections of the sun on the back of that penguin in the water. And if you zoom in a bit, you'll see those little, like on the beak, for example, those little bright spots that the lens of the camera turns into these little sunbursts. Or
So
starbursts. Photographers call them starbursts, and some lenses do them better. And this one
This is
makes
stunning.
it's just stunning.
You could touch the water and the sunshine. You could just feel it.
Yeah.
What an image. Wow. And the Galapagos is a photographer's dream, I have to say.
Yeah, I've never made my way there, but still somewhere on my list.
Highly recommended. Lisa and I went, and we want to go back because it is just, there's so much to see, and it's really wonderful. Well, thank you, Mitch. I guess I noticed the first one right away. Really nice image. Really beautiful.
Our eyes are I mean, we are pattern seekers. So if that's a pattern that you have already in your mind, then it's easy to latch on to.
I should mention that we will be doing, after the photo review, we will be doing some photo news, and we'll answer questions. So as you can see there on the screen, if you go to tfttf.com/PTQ, that's an acronym. All of that's an acronym. Tips from the top floor, tfttf.com, and then PTQ is photo time questions. Go ahead there and leave your questions, because we will be answering some questions.
That's what you get from running your own photo link shortener, which I think is still the better option if
absolutely
unless you
for
want
privacy.
Unless you want
else.
your not just that, but unless you want your links to go away one day if they
too.
close shop, right?
Good point.
Has happened in the past. Okay, second photo by Abdul Mukit, and that's one of those shots that are tough to get because it really requires to be at the right spot at the right time. So what Abdul did is he shot a picture of a bridge in Scotland, the Forth River, and he shot it from a boat on a boat tour.
Very hard to do. I know.
A lot of luck, because that is something you can't plan if you're on a boat.
You can't line up the bridge in the sun.
Someone else steers, right?
Unless you control the boat. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we see is the sun just being right on top of that one tower. So it looks like there's a big torch in the water. And it's pretty cool. He writes it took 5 shots and this one lined up the best.
Perfect. Nice.
That's the kind of thing you'll have to do under these circumstances. Just shoot or spray and pray, and then pick the best one and delete the other ones. And this has been taken with a Google Pixel 8, so it doesn't need like a fancy big dedicated camera to get great pictures.
That's impressive. Even more impressive. That's great.
Yeah.
Lovely shot. Does he say whose bridge that is? I don't.
He says it's evening sun lighting up the Forth River in Scotland.
Oh, it's Scotland.
Scotland somewhere.
All right.
Up there.
Great bridge.
Not easy to do.
No.
And of course, if you're stationary somewhere, there's plenty of apps that will help you get these right. That get to the right spot at the right time. You can pre-plan that with. What is that? TP.
They call it
Photographer's Ephemeris, for example.
Yeah,
is an
the
app.
Photographer's Ephemeris.
There's another one
Abdul's watching. He knew that he would be selected today. Thank you, Abdul. Great shot.
Another app is Photo Pills, PILLS, which also lets you like plan ahead of time where the sun will be, so you can. But again, difficult to do on a photo on a boat tour.
It is. I mean, those are ephemeris, aren't they? So that's an easy thing to, maybe not such an easy thing to remember. The photographer's ephemeris. But Abdul didn't use that. He just was at the right place at the right time.
And he noticed. I mean, honestly, this is kind of one of the most important parts of photography, is to notice that there is a shot to be had.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And to not just to notice, to be perceptive to the outside, but also to your inside, because you will then also have to listen to that little voice in yourself that says, hey, I want to take this picture, because more often than not, that voice gets drowned out by your inner critic that says, oh, there's not a good photo here. Who are you kidding?
Yeah. I'll never be able to get that shot. Everybody's taking that picture. I'm not going to bother. There's all the little voices I've heard.
So being attentive and being attentive towards the outside around you and towards your inside is really the foundation of your photography, because you will not take a good picture if you don't notice it, and if you can't listen to that little impulse that says, oh, I might want to take that.
This might be a shot.
Yeah.
And then we have Josh.
Josh Garner, Echoes of the Street. He writes a brilliant moment from Pike Place Market in Seattle. Street musician pours his soul into every note, brilliantly bridging tradition and modernity with a handmade Venmo sign, a tribute to those turning the streets into art. So
He's playing
I
a
like
piano on the street. I love it.
I like this because it's a character that we see here. And he's playing music. He's really like, you can tell he's like really deep into his music. And then the contrast with this, like a piano is kind of an old-timey thing, but then the Venmo sign bridges that to the current
This
day.
is just a great street photo, too. I love street photos. He's made it black and white, which I always like for a street photo. You see people in the background in their own world, you know. This just captures a story, a time, a place, a feeling so nicely.
And especially, I mean, people like that musician won't mind you taking their photo. They're out there to be seen, so it's a non-confrontational situation for a street photographer. And then I hope Josh gave him a few dollars for his, or Venmo'd him a few dollars for his music.
It's not too late, Josh. There he is, Johnny Han.
There you go.
You can do it right now. I love street photography. I really do, and this is a wonderful shot.
Yeah. And it's a really interesting discipline, the whole street photography thing, because you have to get over that initial over that fear of stepping onto someone's toes or annoying someone.
That's what stops me every time.
But if you do it in places where there's lots of people, tourists, a market, a very touristy place, then you being there with a camera is not gonna be noticed by anyone. And if you really want to be inconspicuous, use your phone. Everyone has their phone out to take pictures, so
that's true.
That's a great street photography device, and there's good apps that will shoot great black and white photos. So
Josh Garner, Echoes of the Street in the Pike Place Market. He used a Nikon Z FC for this 27 millimeter f2.8. You know what? That's a tough one because it's nice to have the wide angle, but it's hard to get the focus with an f2.8. So that's good. Good job.
And a wide angle will force you to get closer, which then will make those pictures stronger.
Yeah.
Taking street photos with a telephoto lens from far away,
too easy.
Never, and visually doesn't have the impact that a wide angle lens will have when you get closer.
Yeah, the wide angle is by its very nature intimate. Yeah. Really nice. Okay, 3 great pictures today. I think those are really fun. Thank you to all our contributors. We appreciate it. Do you want to talk some photo news?
Let's get
much more important.
A new assignment out of the fishbowl.
We got to get a new assignment. All right, we have the giant fishbowl filled with nouns, adjectives, adverbs, past participles, pluperfect.
It's just adjectives. Adjectives.
Adjectives.
Here we go.
Seasonal. Well, we are in a season. If you're down under, you're in the fall season, and up here in the Northern Hemisphere, we're in spring. And you know what? I can get some great seasonal photos. The lilacs are in bloom up here, the magnolias, the cherry trees. It is a allergy fest right now in Petaluma. So seasonal should be good. I love that. Okay. Make a note. Let me explain how this
for the lower third.
Yes, thank you. Very perfectly done. You lined it up with the lower third and everything. This is how we do it. As you saw, we're on Flickr. The thing to do really is get out there and take new photos. We want new photography, new photos. This is the whole point of this. Is not a competition. This is an assignment to get you out taking pictures. So take some new photos illustrating the idea, whatever seasonal means to you. It could be Colonel Sanders' 29 herbs and spices. It could be whatever seasonal means to you. Go out, take some images. Don't think about Chris. Don't think about us. You're not doing it for us. You're doing it for you. But if you get a picture and you say, this image is great, I love this shot, upload it to Flickr. It's free to create an account if you don't already have one. There are pro accounts, but the free accounts give you plenty of storage. Upload it to Flickr, FLICKR.com. Tag it. That's really important for us so that we know that this is your submission for seasonal. And we want you to tag it TG Seasonal so that we know it's for the Tech Guy group, because you're going to then join the Tech Guy group if you're not already a member. Go to that group and upload the picture as a submission to the Tech Guy group. Our wonderful moderator, who deserves huge props for...
She's in the chat.
She does such a great job, and she's been doing this for years now. Thank you, Renee Silverman. She will take your photo, and she will thank you. She'll send you a note. I got it. And you can upload up to 4, because we're going to give you a month to do this before our next assignment. And just make sure you tag it TG Seasonal so we know to add it to the photo pool. Seasonal. I always want to go run out now. And I just saw on this morning some beautiful lilacs that are blooming. There's a lot of seasonal stuff. And I thought, I would love to take a picture. But I don't want to.
Does that.
I should have a separate section just for me so that I'm not in the pool, in the participants pool, because I don't want you to in any way feel pressure. Or maybe I'll use a pseudonym and submit it. Maybe that's what I'll do. But do take advantage of this. It's a great opportunity to get out, especially now. Beautiful time of year to take photos. Seasonal.
Who
photos.
is that Schmio Schmaport guy?
Schmio Schmaport keeps submitting these terrible images.
stick a beard on and
Schmio Schmaport. Okay.
All right.
Okay, let's talk news. And also, don't forget your questions at tftttf.com/PTQ, Photo Time Questions.
Yeah, news. I have a couple of fun things. Well, for me, fun things. That's why I picked them, because I find them interesting. And I hope everyone else finds them interesting too. News from the UNESCO World Heritage Foundation. Film photography, analog film photography, is now officially recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage.
Oh my God, that's wonderful.
Thing. Like intangible, they have a category for intangible things. And yeah, film photography is now officially a part of that, which I think is awesome, right?
It's not digital. This is to honor
film.
Of the classic film photography.
It's a cultural technique, right?
Yeah,
it's been around for a long time, since the mid 1800s.
That's great.
And I mean, I still don't really know what it means. Can I now put a UNESCO sticker on my photo workshops, or do I get a title? I don't know. But I'm one of them, or we are, Monica and I, we're both among people who helped keep it alive and keep it
You've written a book on film photography.
I've written a book on it. We do workshops on it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it certainly will mean some form of greater recognition, maybe some investment. No idea, but it's a good thing. I mean, it's a good sign. And film is often, at least for me, film, I think, is really on the same level of importance like books or painting or other things. Communication through pictures is just an amazing thing, and film photography has made that possible for a very long time. So that's news from the analog world. Let's go to the digital world. There's a new camera.
There's always a new camera.
Well, this one I find interesting. You have your Leica, that's a full frame sensor, 35 millimeter sensor.
Yes.
But then there's this other category of cameras with bigger sensors. We call them medium format cameras. And one company that has served that market is Fuji, or Fujifilm. And they just released a new one that's called the GFX 100RF, which is a 102 megapixel medium format sensor.
I want this so badly. Didn't we talk about this last week or no?
No, not this one. But okay. I'll talk you out of it, Give me a minute.
This
there
is
are
a
a few
But it's
things.
it's medium format, full frame. Yeah.
It's medium format. Sensor is, I don't even know, 40 something millimeters in size.
It's huge. Huge.
Well, the sensor is huge, but the camera is not that huge. Normally,
look
those
at
medium
it.
format cameras are bigger. This one is relatively compact.
It's a handheld. It looks kind of about the size of my Leica, actually.
Yeah, it's a bit bigger, but not too much. It has a leaf shutter, which means the shutter is built into the lens, which
That's
is a
interesting.
4,000th of a second, which enables flash photography at a 4,000th of a second sync speed, which gives you some things that other cameras can't really do. It has a decent autofocus, and the stuff you would expect. It has a built-in 4-stop ND filter, which is a
Love that.
filter that darkens down the light.
I have
you
to
can
use an ND
shoot.
filter, as I've mentioned on my
Right.
0.95 f-stop.
Well, if you want to shoot in bright sunlight with a
Right.
wide open aperture, then you'll need to darken it down somehow. So this one's
so it's
built
nice
in.
to build that in. And do they have a variety of lenses for this?
This one has a fixed lens on it.
Oh, it's built in. Oh,
It has a fixed 35 millimeter lens, which is a 28 millimeter full frame equivalent. But
and it's a
this is-
rangefinder, like you don't.
it is.
Yeah.
But the one thing I don't like about it is it doesn't have an in-body image stabilizer.
Joe was saying the same thing.
And it is, I mean, we're talking a 100 megapixel sensor. So the tiniest movement while exposing will take away from that sharpness, from that detail.
And it's not movement of the subject, but your hand movement is the problem, right?
Your hand movement is the problem because you would want to use that camera. I mean, in a street context, it's definitely doable, and you don't really need that much resolution.
But you might want a tripod, like these images. I bet you on a tripod.
Oh,
right?
these landscape pictures are definitely from a tripod.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's a big sensor in a small body. That's awesome. The lens is an f4 lens, which is not
it's a little
super
slow.
bright, and also the depth of field isn't as shallow as medium format would typically allow you to have. So, but it's unique. I mean, 100 megapixels in a form factor that is easy to carry in your hand.
This
What's
wouldn't
not to
be
like
your
about that?
primary camera, probably. Yeah.
Depends on your photography. I mean, I could imagine doing street photography with something like that.
Let me just
Absolutely.
see how much it is. Well, it's not hideously expensive. It's in fact,
It's
it's roughly in the same
$4,900.
price range as the Leica Q3. Maybe it's.
I mean, that's kind of the rival, the Leica Q3. I've seen the Sony RX1R Mark II as a similar thing, but of course they don't have the megapixels. They don't do medium format, so that's kind of the big factor for this camera.
So this you
And the
think
size.
for street this would be okay?
It's also interesting. If you look at the lens, it doesn't stick out that much.
No.
And the way they did this is the lens extends quite far into the body of the camera. So
which is why the shutter is in the lens. Yeah.
so
The
it's an
body is
interesting
really
concept.
is just a plane for the lens to focus onto.
Yeah, but it looks nice. It's well built and everything.
I like
so
the square light. You know the
the
square
hood.
Hood. That's the word I'm looking for. That's kind of cool. That's a little old school. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not
You're not
probably
buying
not
one?
gonna buy it, but no, not quite.
Not for $5,000. You're not buying one.
I
Get it
have
now
things-
before the tariffs kick in. I think that's going to be 50% more once the tariffs kick in.
Well, it's a Fuji. It's from Japan. Japan and Germany.
Did you guys get
There's
off
no,
light?
There's no tariffs between Japan and Germany, is there?
Oh, for you? No, I'm talking. Don't rub it in, will you? Don't you free traders, you.
Yeah.
Don't rub it in. 102 megapixel. Imagine. Would you? Would one of the reasons to get that be so that you could crop the 102 megapixel image? Like
The camera has a dial that will allow you to set different aspect ratios.
Yeah.
So of course, it crops those. There's a crop mode, which will give you, it zooms in by cropping, so you lose a few megapixels, but with 100 megapixels on the sensor, even if you lose half of that, that's still 50 megapixels. So
I might be more likely to get this than the one we talked about the medium format we talked about last week, because at least you can't buy more expensive lenses.
the one we talked about last week was the Sigma BF.
Yeah, and that was more expensive, I think. Yeah.
So, yeah, new camera.
New camera.
That's the one that stuck out to me.
This is one I would be interested in, to be honest. I think I have something very similar, even though I would love the medium format. But I think this Leica is similar in so many ways to that. And I can change lenses, which is kind of nice. So, all right.
All right. I have a story that I talked to an astronomer just a few days ago. And her name is Sam Lawler. She's from, she lives in Saskatchewan. And she teaches astronomy, and she also does astronomy research and stuff. And if you open the link, you will see something interesting, because she was involved in the discovery of 128 new Saturn moons. So,
what?
The planet Saturn had 146 moons.
Yes.
And it now has 274. And the reason she was involved in that is that photo that you're looking at right now. It's Saturn, but massively overexposed. And this was a mistake. And I'm so happy that a professional astronomer makes mistakes as well, because, I mean, all they do is photography, right? She sent a list of things to discover. I think it was something about the Kuiper Belt. She wanted to do some observations there. So she sent a list of places to point the telescope at in the Kuiper Belt, and exposure times and things. And she forgot to check for planets. So Saturn photobombed her Kuiper Belt photos, which she was very stressed out about initially, because, oh my God, those are useless now. But it turns out these massively overexposed pictures of Saturn helped discover 128 new moons around Saturn, because some of them showed up on that overexposure. So,
well, that's what those little dots are. Is that what we're seeing as moons?
Possibly.
Wow. And the streaks are moons also, I would guess, like in motion.
More likely satellite streaks.
Satellites. Okay.
There are like 10,000 satellites up there now. So
yeah, it's really bad.
Astronomers. Sam Lawler is also quite vocal about light pollution from satellites.
Yeah, we've kind of messed it up, haven't we?
Yeah. Some people are not happy about this. Yeah.
I mean, speaking as a user of Starlink, I guess I shouldn't be saying anything.
Well,
so that's interesting. So she took the picture. Thought it was no good.
Right. She thought it was no good. There were other observations by other astronomers who already started this discovery. So she's not the one who discovered them, but she added data to the discovery with her messed up overexposed photo.
The toot says, amazingly talented Fediverse astrophotographers, gorgeous, perfectly exposed and processed telescope images. Me, a professional astronomer, accidentally points a 4-meter telescope at Saturn for a series of 5-minute exposures. And what does she get? Good news. You've discovered a whole bunch more moons.
I mean,
that's awesome.
I mean, of course, astronomers make mistakes the same way photographers make mistakes, but just their mistakes are maybe a bit more expensive.
Yeah. Happy accident.
But honestly, the photos, the amount of photos, the percentage of photos that I have, or the percentage of photos out of those that I share is minute. So every photographer, professional, not professional, has way more bad photos than you think. They're just much better at recognizing the bad photos and not showing them.
Don't show them. But sometimes
just
it's
how
a
it
good
goes.
thing if you show your bad photos, right?
Or if you find moons. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of astro stuff, the next one I find even more interesting. The world's biggest camera is ready now. And it's a camera that was installed at the Vera C. Rubin Observatory in Chile. And it's known as the LSST camera, which is a camera that's designed to survey the southern sky for things like asteroids that might one day hit us. So they are looking at the sky, and I think they do a survey of the entire southern sky every few days.
Size
so
of
it's
that.
well, there's the second link in the notes here. If you open that one, you'll see it even better. That camera is just so amazing. It has an array of CCD sensors. It shoots at 3,200 megapixels. That's 3.2 gigapixels. The array of sensors is 189 sensors arranged in 21 modules.
Holy cow.
The focal plane measures 64 centimeters across. Each pixel is 10 microns in size, and it covers a 3.5 degree field of view, which is...
That's a pretty actually small, 10 microns,
well,
a very small pixel, isn't it?
Yeah, and the field of view is 7 times the full moon, which for a telescope is quite wide.
Yeah.
It's almost a wide-angle telescope because it needs to take these pictures of the sky regularly and then compare. Has something moved? Is that might be an asteroid?
So you
that
want a
might
wide angle, yeah.
That might in 20 years maybe make us into the second coming of the dinosaurs. So you want to know that early.
Oh
it
my
has
God, it's moving towards us. Wow.
It has an aperture of about f1.23, so it's quite bright, and the primary lens is 1.57 meters in diameter. That's like 12 feet or something.
It's all right. You don't have to convert them into freedom units. We can do meters. That's okay. It's okay.
And the
big.
sensor
It's
array,
really big.
the sensor array, because astrophotography is so sensitive to
Look at the
temperature
sensor.
changes, the sensor array operates at minus 100 degrees Celsius, which is cold.
Yeah, they keep it chilly. Now this is one of 9 sensors, so it's actually a sensor array it's using.
It uses 189 sensors.
Did I say 9? I meant 189. 189 of those? Okay.
It's huge. It's huge.
It's huge.
And the camera weighs about 6,600 pounds.
Well, but in space, no one can hear you scream. So
No, it's on the Earth.
Oh, it's on the Earth. Never mind.
It's in Chile in the Vera C. Rubin Observatory. This one, I don't think you can just easily get 6,000 pounds up.
No, they've been building this observatory for years, it says. This is a great article in Petapixel. Highly recommend it. Yeah.
Another few superlatives. They say that each image has enough detail to fill hundreds of 4K TVs.
Hundreds.
And they don't just look for asteroids. They look for dark energy, dark matter, and so on. So
Here's a picture of the
now.
observatory, so you can see this is up in the Chilean mountains in the Andes.
Yes, one of the darkest places on Earth, and they're doing final testing now. It's been installed. Final testing is underway, and the first official images should drop.
That's really cool.
Soonish.
This is one camera I can't afford.
And it's kind of hard to do street photography.
Not good for street photography. Well,
not really.
It depends where you point
Unless you
it, I
bring
guess.
the street in front of it. I wouldn't even know the minimum focus distance of that thing. Probably in the thousands of miles.
It's hard to even imagine the whole thing as a camera. It's amazing.
I mean, that's what observatories are.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
guess.
telescopes are. They're cameras.
Yeah.
There's sensors and then Sometimes they put filters on it to see just part of the spectrum. That's important. But this one is one that actually looks like a big camera lens.
It does,
which
doesn't it?
I find interesting because
Yeah.
I mean, it is. It's glass. It's not necessarily mirrors, even though I think it can use some mirrored telescope. But it's amazing.
Is it the world's largest camera?
Well, they claim it is. I think it might be.
There are probably camera obscuras that are bigger in some respects, but there's no bigger lens than that. That has to be.
Camera is the word for room, so
Right.
it's a chamber. So
Yeah.
there are definitely bigger rooms.
Yes.
All right. That was the news, and I brought another show and tell,
Oh, good.
which I looked at my showcase of old cameras, and I looked for the weirdest camera that I could find.
You have more than
And
one,
it's-
probably. I'm
well-
guessing.
It's this one.
Okay. What is the dial on top there? The rest of it looks fairly normal.
We'll get to that. This is a Universal Mercury 2. It was built from 1945 to 1952.
Okay.
And it has a rotary shutter. So normally the shutter in a camera is either in the lens, that's a leaf shutter, so it opens and closes, or you have a focal plane shutter, which is right where the
Curtain.
film is, and
Yeah.
it's a curtain system that moves vertically or horizontally. This one rotates. So what you have, and that's why the hump is on top, what you have in here is, let me open that.
This is wild.
It is wild. Let me wind the shutter and just press it for a second, and then you get an idea what it sounds like in front of the microphone. It doesn't do click, it goes zhup.
Zip.
And what it does is, let me zoom in for you so you can see it now. If I release the shutter and hold it, so this is the disc that rotates. You can see it rotate.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
And then at one point, there is the opening. It's a wedge-shaped opening, and you change the shutter speed by changing the angle of the wedge.
Wow.
And now it doesn't want to focus anymore. Here we go.
So if you close that wedge, it'll just be a shorter exposure. Why a wedge, though? That's interesting.
So
I guess because it's circular, they have to do a wedge.
that's how the shutter works. So now we have a smaller opening. See how small
look,
it
it's
is
small.
now?
Yeah.
That's a shorter shutter speed.
Sure, of course it is. Yeah.
And the whole process is so fast that it just goes
It's
once
like
around.
It's like it's scanning it onto the film, really. Yeah, look
I mean,
how quick
it's-
that
it's-
was. Yeah.
It is very, very. It's pretty much the same as a curtain shutter that will also move, and then a second
true.
curtain moves.
Yeah.
So this is a slit moving across. This is a wedge moving across.
Sure, that makes sense.
like a
yeah.
piece of pie, and the size just makes it longer or shorter, which also means every exposure is, from a camera point of view, always the same time. It's only the size of that wedge that changes. It's
So
always the same,
Mercury
just
1
Mercury
and 2.
2. And on the back, I mean, this is just beautiful. If you look at the back of that camera, it has an exposure calculator on here. These are, let me zoom this in again.
I'll go back to Chris so he could show us the actual thing. Yeah.
So on this one, you get to like change the exposure. Well, you don't change the exposure.
You're
calculate
calculating
the exposure
what you want.
by-
yeah.
by rotating that. It's just a beautiful piece of technology. You have a depth of focus scale on that hump that has the rotating shutter in it. And it is one of the earliest cameras that has a hot shoe that can synchronize a flash.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it has a second cold shoe for accessories. So you could
Oh, that's nice.
put a rangefinder on there, like
Yeah.
something that just does the distance for example. So it's one of my favorite things I have.
Was it it was an experiment in...
No, it was a camera that was sold for,
It's just-
again,
this is another way of
1945 to
doing it.
52. That's 7 years they built it. 7 years, it's an American product.
Anthony Nielsen's asking an interesting question. Does it, because of the wedge shape, change how motion blur looks?
Probably.
Because motion blur, I'm an expert
mean,
in motion blur. I do it all the time. Motion blur.
The
At least
interesting
on my
thing is,
curtain camera is kind of like square. I wonder if you have a...
it's more the rolling shutter that you will see. But this one is an actual rolling shutter because it rotates.
It really is literally rolling.
And it is pretty much the same thing as in a film, as a movie, in a movie camera, motion picture camera, because they have the same wedge rotating in front
That's
of
true.
the film.
Yeah, you're right.
It's pretty much the same thing.
That's where the whole like 90 degrees or 180, because
Yeah.
on a film camera or motion.
On this one, you don't have degrees. On this one, you have an actual seconds, thousandths of a second. This one goes down to 1,000th of a second, which was also quite fast for the cameras back then.
Yeah.
And it's a nice conversation starter, isn't it?
No kidding. This is the article. Oops, let me go full screen. This is the article, had a good close-up of the back of the camera from, what is this, Modern Photography Magazine? What is the magazine? Amateur Photographer. They think it's weird too, by the way, Chris. Was this the only rotary shutter camera ever made? I wonder.
Sure it wasn't, but that's the one that you can still get today.
Yeah.
And it's US made, so it should be easy to find one in the States if you want to.
No tariff on those.
Made in USA. It says on the front. It says
it on
right
the front.
here.
Don't tariff me, bro. Very nice. I like your show and tells. You always bring some fun stuff. How many cameras do you own? Do you know?
Oh, there must be over 100 cameras in this house.
Wow.
Not all of them as exotic.
I'm
Definitely.
paring down. I'm trying to pare down, although we did end up buying 3 Sony FX3s for the studio, but which was probably overkill. I only really use the one most of the time. But these are nice. These are nice cameras for cinema cameras. Because I have the single, but I also have the 2-shot, which you see more of the studio. And I don't know what this. We thought maybe I'd use this for
a
close-ups.
sidebar camera. For
It's a side. Chris has a lot
Exactly.
of cameras.
You know what MTV did in their early days? They had this additional camera that was handheld and black and white and grainy, and they used this for
I like that.
special
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
But they did it because they couldn't afford
It's a good way
all
to
the
edit.
good cameras. So
Right.
so they made this even worse than it actually was.
Just so that
because
nobody would. It was intentional.
It was grungy.
We
it
meant
was
it.
it was
We
special.
meant it.
Yeah.
I have that camera. That's this camera.
There we go.
The grunge camera. I think we can also blame MTV for something I just hate. I see it all the time where they're doing an interview and you're looking, the interview subject is looking somewhere or maybe talking to the camera, and then they get the side shot and he's looking off to the side, which always bugs the hell out of me, Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's do the side shot. So it always bugs me. It's like, I'm over here. Look at me over here.
Yeah.
I guess I could, let's see, can I cut? I have to turn off your camera, make this wide angle, and then I'm talking to you. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm talking to you. That is really a weird shot. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Chris.
We have a couple of questions. Do we have 5 more minutes?
Let's do some. I got as much
answers?
time as you want, my friend. Let's do some
I'm good.
questions.
I'm good. We have questions from Margarita, who has an old 7D. That's a Canon.
I love that. Love that. I had one. Yeah.
With a 75 to 300 f4 to 5.6
Holy cow.
lens, and asks, would this produce better images than using a 70 to 200 f2.8 with a 1.4 or 2.x teleconverter on a non-crop camera, also does the teleconverter have to match the lens?
So the basic question is, if you use a teleconverter to increase the focal length of a lens, does that degrade the picture?
And I don't know that specifically with that combination without testing it.
Yeah.
So the answer here is really difficult. But the second part I can answer, the teleconverters don't really have to match. Like you can put a Sigma lens on a teleconverter usually,
Right.
but be careful
The
because
teleconverter doesn't have any glass in it, right? It's just a tube.
No, it does. It does.
Oh,
a
it does.
teleconverter, it's not an adapter. It's not a lens adapter. It's a
Ah.
teleconverter. So it
So
makes
it has
the
a
lens,
lens in it. Okay.
There's a lens in there or even a couple of lenses. But careful because some of those teleconverters that go between the lens and your camera reach back into the camera. There was one by Canon, I think, that has a lens going back into the camera that with some models would collide with the mirror.
Don't want that.
Which you don't want. So
Don't want that.
I would advise a bit of research before you buy, but you can mix and match usually.
Yeah.
So shouldn't be a problem.
And I mean, really, the answer of the question depends on the quality of the teleconverter as much as anything else, right? If it's a good teleconverter, it might not degrade the image.
Well, they will always do something to the
bit.
image, but it typically doesn't bother me. So, second question by Demilente, our friends. And that goes around the adapters. How good are the results of using a lens adapter? We have a Takumar 70-200 for an old Pentax that we'd like to use on a 5D Mark IV. Specifically, there is something new that is called a stretch lens from Photodiox that looks like it would work for macro-like images. Okay, so adapting a lens, just to basics. Many of the lens adapters do not have any optical elements. They're just a mechanical connection between a lens and a camera. What lenses and camera systems do have is called a flange distance. So that's the distance between the lens and the sensor. And that is defined by the mount type. So if you want to adapt a camera, if you want to adapt a lens to a camera with a shorter flange distance, that is easily possible because the adapter will just put things at the right distance. That's what they're there for. If you have a camera that has a given flange distance and you want to adapt a lens that has an even longer flange distance, then you run into issues. There's an exception though, and that is the macro photography, because the longer you make the distance between the lens and the camera, the closer you can focus. So you can turn pretty much any lens into a macro lens by putting a distance between the camera and the lens. So that's what, in that case, an adapter would do. You will very likely lose the ability to focus onto infinity. Like you can't focus as far away as earlier. But that is not a problem with macro photography. So I do this with large format photography. You know the camera with bellows?
Yeah.
You will just increase the distance between lens and film until you have a macro lens. So you can virtually make any lens into a macro lens by just increasing that distance.
One of the things that's cool about the mirrorless photography now is because of the physical mechanics of it, you can often adapt. This is, for instance, a Metabones adapter that lets me use a Leica L mount on my Sony lenses. And it, as you say, it's a physical, there's no lens in it. It's a physical adapter.
Some lenses might need an electrical connection for the focus to work and so on.
You see the pins there.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you lose capability depending on the camera and the adapter. But that's why those pins are there to kind of, if the lens has the right electronics, match it with the electronics. So yeah, this goes from an EF. I think this was
to a Sony E mount. Yeah.
Yeah. This is
which has
Canon.
a very short
this
flange
is Canon
distance.
to Sony. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there are a few adapters that will adapt in the other direction that have optic elements. But in general, what you're looking for is just it's pretty much a spacer between the camera and the lens, and then it makes it really work well for macro photography usually.
Yeah, the spacer extends that. In fact, I have a little spacer that's exactly for that purpose, to make it possible to do. In fact, this is one of the issues with these Leica lenses, is I can't get very close on a lot of these lenses. Like this one, I think the closest I can get is a meter. So there are ways to put a spacer in here to give you closer focus. Actually, I got some lenses for closer focus that I screw on like a filter.
Yeah.
Those
are acromats, like little.
Thank you.
Little, what are they? Like magnifying glasses that you put on front of the lens. Yeah.
I have my acromats in my camera bag. I set of them for. I kind of had this fantasy that I could use this one Leica lens for everything I do, and so I went out. And
you know
got
what happens when I try that, to use one thing for everything?
I regret it.
I'm just too lazy to always keep screwing around with things and adding accessories and so on.
Literally.
That's what happens.
Oh, here's my I found them. Here's my close-up. So I got a little carrier for because you have all the different adapters in here that you're carrying around. I don't even know what these are.
I mean, it's always cool in theory, but then
that's a neutral density. Yeah, it's cool in theory. But I thought, if I ever, I see a butterfly and I really want a close-up, I could do that.
You could, this. Yeah.
These are heliopans. This is a NL3. So it's, and then I think I have one more. All of this is designed to make this one lens work for everything. Yeah. This is an NL2. Anyway, adapters.
Third question.
Yes.
Dave asks, are hiking backpacks safe to carry camera gear? Is there something that should be added to pad the bottom? Don't want to use those that say a camera brand, which screams expensive stuff in here.
That's
one of the reasons.
Look at this.
That's
what
very
I carry.
smart.
Look at this. This looks like this. You wouldn't even want this. Whatever's in here, you wouldn't want. It's probably a canteen and a hunting knife. But it's actually a great camera bag. So
right. So what you can make this pretty safe for your camera. I mean, use common sense, right? You want to pad this. So I personally would put my camera gear in almost any bag because I'm not really precious about it. I would maybe put something like a sweater on the bottom of it to make sure if I put it down that nothing happens. And then there's individual padding for your lens and your cameras. If you look at a photo store, a photo online store, and just look for wraps. They're called wraps, and they come from different brands, and they individually wrap your things in padded fabric. The alternative is get camera cubes. Also from different brands. They just look for camera cubes. That's the name of these things. In different sizes, in different form factors, from different brands. They go inside your hiking backpack, but they are like a camera bag without the outer part. It's just a padding with a zipper, and you can put your stuff in there, and you can put compartments in there. Again, different brands give you different options there. And then that's your stealth camera bag.
I must say I am a fan. That was a think tank bag that I learned about from Ken Rockwell's fabulous photo blog. And what I like about it is, and he's, by the way, Think Tank sells all of the things that you just mentioned, including photo cubes and a variety of bags and stuff. But what I like about this bag that I have is it doesn't look like anything precious.
It doesn't shout expensive stuff.
Yeah. And he has sling bags. I do like the sling bags that go cross body, so you can whip them around and take a photo and so forth. But I've been very happy with these Think Tank, and it looks like a backpack. Doesn't look like there's fancy camera in it, but it has the padding. It has the camera cubes. It has all of that. So this is for the same reason, I was looking for something that wouldn't shout "steal me."
Yeah.
And I've been really. I mean, I think this doesn't look like anything. It looks like it's a army surplus, basically.
And you don't have to carry around a lot of stuff. It's usually like a day bag with a camera and a lens and
I
maybe
have
a
the
second
bigger
lens
one.
or something.
Also,
Yeah, of course you do.
if I decide, this was when I had the Canon and about 8 lenses, and so I have the slightly bigger one. Oh, the other thing that this comes with, which is nice, is a wrapper for when it rains, so you can wrap it around it and keep it.
How often have you used that wrapper?
Yeah, I haven't either.
See?
It's still in the pouch. This is one other feature. Oops, I just unplugged. Fooling around with all my gear here. Unplugged myself. This has one feature that I really like. It's Velcro, so it's fairly noisy when you open it up. It goes rip. But they have.
You mean if someone steals something, you can hear it?
Well, no, that's the normal thing.
Because they will steal the whole bag.
To leave these open. But I have no. It's just so that you can open the bag silently. If you're in a Shinto temple, they have a little sound silencer that covers up the Velcro. So
I see.
You don't have Velcro, and I really actually appreciate that. And you see, I have the silencers closed because I don't want to make a lot of noise. I really like these think tanks. ThinkTankPhoto.com. I've been very happy with these. I'm sure you have a million bags, as do I. But,
I have a main backpack,
Yeah.
camera backpack for travel that I've used for probably 8 years now, and it's perfect. It doesn't need to be changed. It doesn't look very expensive, so it's very.
That's the key, isn't it?
It's very low key, and yeah.
And notice,
All right.
all my cameras, I take the camera strap that announces that you have a Canon or a Sony,
don't.
take that off. I buy custom straps, and in some of these, I even my Q2, I've actually put a black piece of tape over the red dot because I don't want to look like I'm doing anything fancy at all. I want to sneak around stealthily.
I mean, pros will still recognize the Leica.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
And probably a pro thief will. Yeah.
Yeah. We have one more question by Old Guys. Do you have a tripod recommendation? There are multiple head types, and we just have an old plastic thing that now droops. Gimbal, ball, pistol, Oben, Manfrotto, or Amazon Special, aluminum, plastic, or fiberglass. First of all, I don't know what the market has right now, but in general, I could do like a 3-hour episode just on tripods and stuff because that's a huge topic. In general, what I recommend is go into a store, look at these things, play with them. Don't take the expensive stuff. You don't really need magnesium or carbon or something like that tripod. Normally, an aluminum tripod will be plenty for most people, unless you hike with it a lot. For the head types, I mean, there are different head types. There are ball heads and there are gear heads and there are, I don't even know what kind of different heads. I personally am a fan of ball heads. They give you flexibility. They're quick to set up. They're not too expensive. If you do architecture photography or astrophotography and you need to be really need a geared head to only move the x-axis by half a degree and that kind of stuff, then if you need that, you will know what you need because you will be at the point where you do research. Don't overspend because you can spend a lot on tripods. They can get quite
don't
expensive.
Tell me about it. April 2007. Oh my gosh. I went on a wonderful photo expedition with some very professional photographers. In fact, I'm looking for the image because we all competed over merely on the weight of the tripod. And I have a funny picture if I can find it of Peter Krogh. I'll tell you what the moral ended up being is. At least several of the photographers say, buy don't even bring a tripod with you. Buy one when you land wherever you're going. Buy the cheapest one you can find, then leave it there because no one wants to pack a tripod. But
you know what my motto is, and I stole this from my friend John. The world is my tripod.
There you go. Put it on a rock. Yeah.
Have that camera in your hand and lean against a wall, and you are your own tripod. Put it on a fence post against a table or something. That will give you so much stability. Of course, if you need a 5-minute exposure from like in astrophotography, then that's a different story. But okay, last question. We just got one more question in by Steve Maris that I will not be able to answer. What 2 or 3 free photo editors do you recommend for Android or Samsung Ultra 22? I don't have an Android. I cannot answer the question. Free photo editors for Android or Samsung. But we'll put this out in the community. Maybe someone can answer that under the video or in the chat. Or Leo, do you have?
Well, I have an Android
use on
phone,
Android?
but honestly, what's nice about Android is it comes pretty well equipped with Google. The Google camera has its own editing capabilities, and then there's Google Photos inside that that also is quite good. I think, especially now that they've added AI.
Yeah, I think so too.
I would start
onboard
with
stuff
Photos, right?
Yeah, for me on iPhone, the built-in editor is quite capable.
Yeah.
So, Berg writes, it's a Pixel phone. The built-in editing is great. So
I think it's
what's
quite
on
good.
board.
There are open source solutions. I don't know if they're on Android. But they're certainly on Linux. Some very good open source solutions, which means they're essentially free. I use Raw Therapy, for instance, on Linux, and it's a very good raw editor. There's Darktable, I think it's called, is also very good. So there's a lot of good choices out there.
Just got a good update, so Darktable has improved quite a bit.
Yeah, and I look for, of course, raw capability. I'm always looking for something to replace Lightroom, frankly.
Yeah,
Sad
it's
to
hard.
say.
It's hard. I
It's hard.
have like 1.5 decades of edits in there and history, and yeah.
I think I have found. Let me see if I found the photo I was looking for of 2 of my favorite photographers, Peter Krogh, who I talk about a lot, who is a wonderful professional photographer. And then we were traveling with and I'm sad I've forgotten his name. He's a wonderful photographer, National Geographic photographer, who I consider a great mentor. Everything he told me was, stuff that I'll never forget. And somewhere I have a picture of them comparing. Here it is. Comparing tripods, and what they were comparing was the weights of the tripod and how they could lift it he could lift it with his pinky.
I have a travel tripod that is folds down really nicely, but then you pay for that by lack of stability and a lot of hassle setting it up.
Peak Design made a really great travel tripod that
I
does
have that.
fold
That's
down.
the one I have. Yes.
Yeah.
But
this is the one
it's
I
fiddly,
really like, which is my Gitzo. And one of the reasons I got this is because, gosh, what is his name? I wish I could remember. Maybe somebody recognizes him. He recommended this. Those are both Gitzos that they're holding up. And the reason they liked it is this centering mechanism. There's a rod that goes down the middle. You could get a ball head. You get any kind of head on top of this. But the rod has a little level on it, and you can very quickly, even after you've set up the tripod, without changing the length of the legs, you can very easily level the shot with this. You can see it has a little spirit level in the bottom.
The one thing I can clearly say is do not go for some of the Kickstarters that have self-leveling tripods.
No. I agree with you on that.
All of these have turned out to be garbage.
Yeah. The other thing I like about the Gitzo is, and this was another thing Peter and said, quick release, very easy to just unscrew all three of these with one twist and you're ready to go. So now I have to put it back together. And it's carbon fiber, so I can lift it with my pinky too. Ta-da!
Hey.
Anyway. You know what? Gear is a problem.
It's like having 200 megapixels, but all you need is 20.
Gear is. I've stopped though. I don't do it anymore. I've backed down. But
I've stopped recommending
against
against buying gear. I have completely
Yes.
stopped recommending against buying gear because the only way you can learn that the gear is not what is responsible for your photography is by going through that deep valley of despair, of gear despair. It's just you cannot learn this from someone else telling you. You have to learn it yourself, and it's an expensive lesson. But yeah, so go buy what you think is right. Make your own experiences. But in general, don't spend too much money.
I didn't mean to abandon you there, but I was. I've got to find. This is the book that came from that trip to Tasmania, McAlolan's Lightroom adventure many years ago, and I'm sure the names of the photographers are in here, and I can get his name because he was a wonderful photographer. Let me see. I want to give him credit. Here we all are. This was amazing. Catherine Hall was on this trip with us. Mikkel Oland, a bunch of wonderful photographers. You can see I'm right in the smack dab in the middle there.
Yeah, it's quite an illustrious group there. Wow.
It was an amazing group, and I wasn't there as a photographer. The Masaki Aihara was there, who amazing Japanese photographer. Philip Andrews from Australia. Bruce Dale was his name. That's Bruce Dale, National Geographic photographer, and a legend and one of my heroes in the world. He's measuring with Peter Krogh, who is also a brilliant photographer. I was just there as a as a punter, as a special guest. But it's an adventure I will never forget. It turned me on to photography in so many ways. And that's
by
where
the way, in the meantime, the chat has answered Steve's questions about question
photo
about
editors for
Android.
Android. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's Seed Studio, Snapseed.
I've used Snapseed. There's Visco is another one, VSCO. But honestly, I think a lot of them are gimmicky. Snapseed's kind of gimmicky. I think the photo editor built in is, and of course Photos is really all you need, in my personal opinion. All right,
Yeah.
Mr. Marquardt,
So
we should set up a date for our next session.
let's do that right now.
Yes, so
It's
everybody
April the
listening
3rd right
will
now
know.
in a month. The 5th of June
May?
would work just fine.
5th of May or June?
No, wait. 5th of May, of course.
Yeah, no, let's say the 8th of May.
No, the
How
5th of May. The 8th of May is a good date. Yeah.
Yeah.
I slipped in my calendar.
Yeah, does that work for you, Anthony? 1
Yes,
p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern,
I'm sorry, the 8th?
May 8th.
Okay, so 5 weeks out, right?
Oh, we could do it May Day. We should do it on May Day. We're doing seasonal. You can't do it?
There is a small chance that I won't be back from my photo trip just yet.
Oh, he's going to be traveling.
How
How about the 8th?
Yeah.
work?
Unless, Leo, didn't you want to move these to Friday, or?
Can you do them on Friday, Chris?
I can certainly do that.
Well,
9th?
how about, can you do
Yep.
May 2nd? No, you still won't be back, you think?
Good chance that I'll be back.
Let's make it May 2nd.
Let's do May 2nd.
All right. 1 p.m.
Same
Pacific.
time?
Is that same time? Does that work?
Same
Or you want to do it
time.
earlier? Because I know it's 1
we
p.m.
can't do it.
our time is 9 or 10 for you at night.
I mean, if you can do it an hour earlier, that would...
I could do it at noon. No.
We might overlap twists.
This week in space.
Yeah. That's the only.
Let's leave it at 1
consideration.
p.m. for now. Let's leave it at 1 p.m. for now.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay. 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. That would be 2000 UTC. And we would be on May 2nd. Did we agree that would be okay? Okay.
Yes.
We'll put that in. That means you have 4 weeks to take a seasonal image, whatever that means to you. Upload it to the Flickr group, the Tech Guy group on Flickr. Tag it TG Seasonal. Chris will pick a few to review. Of course, we'll have his photo news, and we will also measure our gear. This is the only show that I do that has me running around
That's cool.
trying to find stuff. I haven't used this. I have to say, even though I bought it back then, I don't think I've used it more than a couple of times. For
You should come to Freiburg and do some nighttime Christmas market photography.
I
then you'll have a
really
use for
should.
your tripod.
It'd be so much fun. Thank you, Chris Marquardt. Thanks to our club members who make this possible. If you're not a member, you're watching this live and you don't know anything about Club Twit, find out more at twit.tv/clubtwit. It is a great way to support our programming and what we do here. You can see there's no advertising for a show like this, so we count on you to support it. You also get ad-free versions of all the other shows and lots of other benefits, including other great events. Chris Marquardt is at discoverthetopfloor.com. That's where his workshops are, his coaching, and more. Chris, moin moin. It's great to see you, and I will see
Thanks
you
for
in
having
1
me.
month. Safe travels in Eastern Europe.
Thank you.
Lots of fun. Now I have to put everything away. I got Bruce Dale. I apologize, Bruce, for forgetting your name. He really was a mentor to me. This is 18 years ago now, 17 years ago now.
I do remember that.
Oh, it was amazing. And you're right. It was a very illustrious group. I'm sure you were invited. Maybe not.
I wasn't that the a 5D Mark IV, Mark
Yeah, it was a
3
5D. It wasn't a Mark
kind of
IV. It was
thing?
probably a Mark I I was using because
But wasn't that the 5D Mark III that there were a lot of cannons there that were kind of not prototypes but early models.
There may have been, and Epson was a sponsor, so we had these beautiful Epson photo printers, and the images that these photographers were taking were just incredible. The book is full of them. But it's funny, it's Adobe sponsored it, but it's actually a Lightroom thing, and so Lightroom is throughout, but the images in it are just fantastic, and such a great group. It was a privilege for me. I felt very fortunate to be with these guys. Incredible group, very talented.
Sounds like an awesome trip.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Chris.
All right,
have a great evening.
Thank you very much.
Leo, if you could
See
hang
you
tight
in a month.
Okay, I shall hang
something.
tight.
Yeah.
Bye, Chris.
All right, bye now.
Take care. Yes, Mr. Anthony.
to record a line.
Yes.
This is a marketing sizzle reel we have, but I need to replace a line. So if you could,
Is it video or just audio?
just audio.
Okay.
And I've slacked you directly of the line.
I have Slack open. Let me check on my Slack. Did you DM me or?
Yeah, DM. Just now.
Oh, there it is. I see it.
If you want to hear the cadence that we're trying to replace.
We've
That's
collaborated with hundreds of brands, names like NetSuite, Akamai, and Miro.
So we've collaborated with hundreds of brands, names like Bitwarden, Cashfly, and Shopify. Or should I go up at the end?
We could do one more, but I think that's
I'll do a couple more for you. We've collaborated with hundreds of brands, including Bitwarden, Cashfly, and Shopify. We've collaborated with hundreds of brands, names like Bitwarden, Cashfly, and Shopify. Let me hear it again.
We've collaborated with hundreds of brands, names like NetSuite, Akamai, and Miro.
We've collaborated with hundreds of brands, names like Bitwarden, Cashfly, and Shopify.
All right.
That
Thank
should
you,
be a
Leo.
close match.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. And
All
thank
right.
you, everybody. Goodbye. Have a wonderful day. Ta-ta. See you Sunday. Jason Calacanis.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy. I almost said, let's get Ed Zitron on. And I thought, no, that
I-
would be too much.
I would really like to see that, but yeah.
Cage match.
Yeah.
It'll be Alex Wilhelm and Jason. It'll be a twist takeover this week in Startups Takeover. See you Sunday. Bye-bye.